Hello, my name is Arturo Rangel, and today my teammate and I are going to present about the Great Wall of China.
What is the Great Wall of China? Well, the Great Wall of China is a wall built across the northern borders of China, across the ancient Chinese states, as protection from the nomadic group attacks.
Where is it exactly? The Great Wall stretches from west to east in northern China. There are a few sections in southern China called the Southern Great Wall. The Great Wall starts from the Jiaojuguan Pass in Gansu Province in West China and end at Hushan Mountain in Liaoning Province in the east, traversing 15 provinces, including Beijing, Tianjin, Hebei, Jiangxi, Inner Mongolia, Jilin, Zhejiang, Shandong, Henan, and other ones, leaving 43,721 heritage sites, including the walls, ditches, and passes.
Who built it? Well, the first emperor of China, Qi Huang, started to build the wall by combining some already existing walls from the 7th century, and later, the several generations finished it.
The Great Wall of China has a long story, more than 2,300 years. It was built in different areas by different states and dynasties to protect different territorial borders. There are uncountable versions of how many years the Great Wall took to get finished and when was it started. Some of them say that it was from 680 before Christ to 1681. Others say 221 to 207 before Christ. But, according to the official website of National Geographic, the earliest fortifications date back as far as the 7th century before Christ, but the best preserved sections were built during the Ming dynasty.
How was the Great Wall of China built, and what materials they used? Before the use of bricks, it was mainly built from earth, stones, wood, and later they used tiles, limestone, and stone.
The wall structure of the Great Wall of China is different in different sections. In the plain or important military locations, the walls were built to be tall and solid. On steep mountain ridges, the walls were relatively low and narrow. They are about 10 meters high on average, 7 to 8 meters wide at the bottom, and 4 to 5 meters wide at the top of the wall. The brick used to construct the wall is about 15 kilograms heavy each. In ancient China, the Great Wall was used as a military fortification, and the space between the inner and outer walls was filled in for marching and transporting supplies, hence making the Great Wall as wide as 4 to 5 meters, which can allow 10 soldiers to walk shoulder by shoulder. The current single-lane motorway is generally 3.5 meters wide. Assuming that a cars can be driven up there, the Great Wall can accommodate two. And now, we're going to be able to see a video about tourism and some of the visitors to the Great Wall of China.
Legends and stories. There are many legends and stories about the Great Wall of China, but the legend of Meng Jiannu is the most famous of them. Meng Jiannu's husband, Fan Xiliang, was caught by the federal officials and sent to build the Great Wall of China. Meng Jiannu heard nothing from him after his battle, so she set out to look for him. Unfortunately, by the time she reached the Great Wall, she discovered that her husband was already dead. So, hearing about the news, she cried her heart out, and her owl caused a collapse part of the Great Wall.
How society has kept that place from wearing out or disappearing year after year. The job of saving what remains of the Great Wall is a too big task for China's government alone. Dong, vice chairman of the Great Wall of China, said. China has enacted regulations to protect the wall, but many local governments are in impoverished areas and can't pay to maintain it. Dong plans to get companies and individuals to sponsor sections of the wall. Dong recently launched pilot sponsorship programs. The money will be used to pay local communities and governments to patrol and repair the wall. He envisions planting markers along the wall with information about each particular section's history and sponsors, and is pressing China's national government to adopt his sponsorship plan nationwide.
Advantages and disadvantages of taking care of Great Wall of China for the country. Some of the advantages are that it keeps tourism coming and the economy rises because of the tourism. In case of a war, the Great Wall is a great point for defending. And some of the disadvantages are that maintaining the wall takes a lot of money and is old and it might suddenly break down.
Why it is so important, or why is it considered one of the seven wonders of the world? Historically, the Great Wall of China protected its people from invasion by northern nomadic tribes and promoted trade between the two sides. Nowadays, although its military function has ended, it is a top tourist attraction in China and a symbol of the Chinese nation. Since the Great Wall of China was built, it has been a symbol of the unity of Chinese nation. Its harsh, long-lasting, and large-scale construction reveals the diligence and braveness of the Chinese nation. This is why it is so important to the Chinese culture. The Great Wall also protected traders from the invaders and promoted the import and export trade along the Silk Road. Once the westbound caravans left the Central Plains and entered the Gobi Desert, they were highly vulnerable to attacks by nomadic people. Along the northern Silk Road route, the Great Wall Fortress and beacon towers protected caravans from nomadic attack. The Silk Road brought Chinese goods and civilization to Central Asia, West Asia, Central Europe, and Southern Europe, and brought back Western goods and civilization along the Great Wall, promoting cultural, political, and economic communication and cooperation between China and other countries. For us, get maintaining to these places that have an extremely large history that has been part of not only one, of many civilizations, and, in this specific case, it was very important for military and security of China. It's something we should always consider because these type of places represent entire countries. People feel identified or have special emotions for that place because their ancestors had been there or even the people who founded their country. So, to conclude this presentation, we both think that we have to keep safe these type of places. So here we have some of the bibliographical resources we used in our presentation. And I want to thank you for your attention. We hope you really enjoyed our presentation.